If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to another episode of the FightersRep video podcast. Today, during this crazy quarantine, we've got another very special guest for you. He is also a FightersRep champ. He's on your screen, none other than Gabriel Silva.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, Gabriel? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Good, man. Just doing just about anything not to go crazy over this quarantine stuff, man.
I feel you, man. Hey, you got those beautiful belts sitting in the background right now, and I see you got your sponsor's hat on right now as well.
Yeah. Shout out to 777 Exotics, man.
How are you getting through this quarantine right now, Gabe? What's going on with you right now?
Dude, it's actually not that bad. I thought it would be worse, but it was worse for like the first 2-3 weeks, which I couldn't go to the gym. But then once my dad started slowing down with his work timings and stuff, we started to get together to work out and stuff. So it's been good, we're staying active. I wake up every day at 7 in the morning, and then I train usually two times a day, or sometimes just even once. But at least I'm staying active, so I can't complain. Could have been worse, so I'm happy.
Very cool. And so you're training with your dad. I mean, are you still training at Systems Training Center or with anybody from the camp there?
No, I train. Sometimes I join them on the Zoom calls because we're all teaching through the Zoom app. So the gym is actually closed. Unfortunately, we can't have it open. So yeah, I'm not going there. I usually talk to the guys over the phone and just get over a couple of stuff, but that's about it.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's not too bad having a person considered one of the greatest of all time to spar with and work out with once in a while. Tell me about that, Gabe.
Yeah, I'm fortunate, man. Like I told you, I can't complain. Like I have like the life that many wish to have. Like to get to work out, wake up every day. My dad knocking on my door, let's go train. Even when sometimes I might be a little lazy, he's like banging on the door, like, no, you're gonna train today and not sleeping today. We have a whole day. So to me, it's not that bad. Like we have a whole day. So a whole day doing nothing. What is a 2-3 hour workout? To me is nothing. So like I'm grateful, I train very happy. We usually cook barbecue after, play some soccer over here at the house. So it's not bad, man. It's actually good because everybody's doing their own thing. So we rarely see each other at the house, but just to have everybody together is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Family time is always important to help us wind down a little bit, and I'm glad you have your father around for the time being. Gabe, yeah. I wanted to ask you, it's definitely pretty special to have a father that's widely considered as one of the greatest, or if not the greatest, to ever do it. Yeah. I usually ask people what got them into fighting. I'm going to ask you that as well, even though I know who your father is. What got you into fighting, and what has he said about it?
It's kind of, I'm gonna say organically. It happened organically. So what happened was, I used to live in Brazil, right? And I used to play soccer. I used to, my life was soccer. I wanted to be a soccer player, and just pretty much how my dad had it set up. He used to love soccer and stuff. And I had a contract that I was about to sign, but I always wanted to live here in America. That was like, I had a childhood dream. So I always used to watch movies about America. I always hip hop music. I was always into the culture. So that's how, even before I came to America, I already knew how to speak English. Like, I already had a good basic English just from watching movies. And, I'm an anime guy, so I watch a lot of animes, and then I do translation of it, like a lot of stuff from here, and then I had a good base of English. So I was like, I want to go to America. I want to see how is it out there. And my brother already used to live here, Khalil, my younger brother. So yeah, I was playing soccer still. I was going to school there, and then my dad came up to me, and I had a contract. Then I called my dad. I remember I was like, yo, Dad, I have, the soccer thing going on. They sent me a contract and I'm about to sign. And my dad was like, well, that's good. I'm happy for you. But if you're signing, you're going to be stuck to the contract. So the possibility of you coming here, it's not going to happen, So it's like, So I thought about it, I had, it was like a huge fight with my mom over in Brazil because she was like, no, you have to do this, it's for your dreams, for your future. And I was like, but in my head, I was like, well, I want to go to America, I want to see how it is out there. I heard Cali is pretty damn good. So I was like, I just was like, screw it. So I just came over here. And then my dad had the Muay Thai college at Torrance. And I used to stay there at the gym. So at some time, at the time, it was like, 2013. Yeah, that was the first time, 2013, the first time I came to America. So, yeah, I used to stay at the gym all the time. I made a few friends over there. Jesus, there was Christian. There were boxers that used to be at the gym too. And so I came for a vacation. So I went back to Brazil the same year. And then I came back the next year on summer. It was around June, I think, or June or July, either or. And at the end of the vacation, it was like, my dad just came up to me. He was like, dude, you should just stay. Like, you shouldn't go back. Like, you should just, already start getting into school here and then just get used to the country, because the opportunity is not going to be, around forever. So I was just like, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I always wanted to stay here anyway, so why not?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then I came back, right? And then my dad still had the gym. So, the same thing, I did it when I came the first year. So I used to stay at the gym. I used to stay basically there all day. So I was like, I saw the boxing guy. So I was just like, and then it was like around the Mayweather Canelo time frame. And I always liked Mayweather. So I was like, I want to, I could try it, So I started doing boxing with Marco Morales. Used to be the boxing coach on my at MTC. And I used to, just train with those guys sometimes. But I'm not going to lie. At that time, I was young. I was I think 18. I just turned 18. So I was hella lazy. And then I was a kid. I used to, go around, be in the mall, like go everywhere. And then sometimes I would be at the gym, sometimes not. So yeah, I would train boxing with these guys, and then I saw that I was getting a good results out of it.
Yeah.
And I just started training more and more and more. Some training in and out, and it was that about time of that decision. Like, should I fight or not? Should I fight? I really forgot soccer when I moved here, so I was like, I'm not really gonna. Soccer is not really big in America, It's only if it's for girls and stuff. So I was just like, yeah. Soccer is really dead to me, so I just, should find something else. And I would see my dad train, dude. Sometimes we would leave the gym, me and him, like 12 in the morning, like super damn late. So I was like, dude, like that's how I want to be in life, have that type of discipline, have that type of resolve and commitment, grind it out. Like he would do work, like media stuff the whole day. He would be exhausted, but at the end of the night, he would still get his work in. So I was like, that's the work ethic I want for myself. So, yeah, so I started training more, and then I got really good at it. But then time went by, the gym closed down, unfortunately, and things moved by. And then my dad opened up the Spider Kick brand, and then he stays there over there in Beverly Hills every day, taking care of his stuff. So I was like, yeah. So that's when I met the guys at System. So I was like, well, now I have a gym. I met Marcus over there. Dima became my coach. Mm-hmm. So I just started training more, and then he was like, because it was all of that prior to that, to me getting to Systems, I already had 4 years of training by myself. So I pretty much taught myself how to fight. Sometimes I would train my dad, sometimes with Marco and the guys, but the guys, they have priorities. They have their pro fighters, so I would kind of be left off to the side, because I was like, I don't want to fight. Like, I just want to learn, because being scared out of it, I'm taking the responsibility. So I was just like, yeah, me as a kid, I was like, I don't really want to fight, but I want to learn. So yeah, they was like, yeah, we don't really have time for that, like, because the guys like Jesus and Christians and those guys, they already had like 86 amateur fights. I'm talking about over almost 100 fights, and they were pros, like becoming pros. So they were already training to be pros and stuff. So they were in a whole different type of spin. So. Yeah, so when I came to Systems, I already have 4 years of training boxing by myself, and I had a pretty good base of it. And I would go to Black House too, because I would go with my dad sometimes to Black House, sometimes by myself. I would train with the guys over there. They're really tough out there, so I kind of picked up fast. And then when I went to Systems, I always used to go there sparring, because my friend Felipe used to go there. So he was like, "Yo, come to Systems today." And then at that specific day, I was just like having like a bad day, you know. So I was just like kind of unmotivated, like I didn't have motivation. So at the end of sparring, I remember I had it was a good day of sparring. Like I sparred pretty hard. At the end of it, me and Marcus, the owner of the gym, sat down. He was like, dude, you should give it a try, dude. I was like, man, I don't think I'm ready. I think I need more training. He was like, no, like I could get you a fight by July. That was, I think it was May. I think it was around May when he said it. And I was like, I could get you ready in 2 months. So I just started coming to the gym. That was my first fight when I debuted last year in July. So yeah, I just started training, and then the fight happened. So, and I just, you know, the rest is history. Like I step up there, you know, I knocked the guy out, and I think it was the second round. Had a second round TKO, and that's how we kind of took off. And then I was just like, I just want to, you know, keep doing this, stay as much active as I can, and just do this because I fell in love with it. So
yeah,
really good.
Yeah. So I mean, your first fight was, you said, May of last year. Is that right?
I think it was May, if I'm not mistaken. No, the first fight was in July.
July.
The Marcus, when I asked, like Marcus told me to get a fight to July, but that happened in May. The sparring when I went there to spar.
Gotcha.
It was around May, I think.
And then
I remember it took me 2 months to get ready to the fight, or a month, I don't remember. So it was right before July.
Gotcha. And then in September, you came and competed for us for the first time. We were your second fight. Is that right?
Yeah. Second fights with Richard guys against Denis Kovalev, I believe. Yeah.
Very good fight. That was a really good fight.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was fun. My leg was messed up for almost a whole month after, but it was good. It was a good fight. It was a good test.
It was a really good fight. So what age did you start? I mean, what age would you say you started training to fight?
Training to fight when I made the decision, I was 17, about to turn 18. But I've been training my whole life. I always used to go to gyms in and out. Like I've been training since my dad put me, my brother, and my cousin, we grew up together, you know. So we used to go to school or soccer and have a whole half of the day with nothing to do. So my dad put us to do Muay Thai when we was young. So we've been training ever since 8 years old. So yeah.
And you had the opportunity to play soccer. It sounds like you passed that opportunity up.
Yeah. I mean, I had to make a decision, you know. I was like, I could have been good, you know. Like my whole family, you know. My dad plays soccer. My uncles play soccer. Some of my cousin plays soccer. Some of my other cousins play soccer. My brother plays soccer. So I was like, it was a family thing. But once I saw my dad, the art of my dad's work ethic, that's when I made the decision, man. I was like, I want to be just like that, you know.
Wow. Well, that's a fantastic example to have right there.
Dude, yeah. Once he's in that mode, sometimes I observe here at the house, like we finish our training and he just stays a few minutes extra. No, just not, sometimes not even training, just meditating, and it's just the tranquility is so calm. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it's something that really gets your mind in that situation, you know. It's just like, it's a beautiful thing to see his concentration, and sometimes even doing some movements, like some really stuff when he's on his zone, you know. So I was just like, I want to be just like that, man. So that's how kind of picked it up.
And what were his thoughts when he found out, oh shit, my son Gabriel wants to do what I do for a living? What was his thoughts?
Dude, I was kind of skeptical to tell him because I didn't know how he was gonna react to it. So I was like, he's just gonna think I'm bullshitting, just like, you know, like he just thinks I want to do it just because I'm seeing him succeeding, and I just want, you know, a little glory really quick. So I was like, he would see me training because I would come back home from systems at late, sometimes like 10. He was like, where were you? I was like, I'm training. I had like a big duffel bag full of my equipment. So he started seeing that. But he had to go. I think he had to go to China. I think he was doing a movie, or I don't know where he was. I think he was at China, so he couldn't make it to the fight. So I was like, I told him about the fight. He was like, oh, that's cool. Like, you should do it. Like, you know, if that's what you want to do, I support you 100%. And I was like, he even helped me train for a few days before he left. So I thought he was gonna be in a corner, but he had to go, and I didn't know that. I found out last minute that he was gonna travel. So I was like, man, that's unfortunate, you know. But I trust the guy as the system, so it wasn't like a major thing, but I just wanted to have him there, especially at the first fight. But it's cool. Like as soon as before the fight, he called me, and right after the fight, he called me. So he was super happy. So I was like, oh man, it's a relief, It's a heavy weight off my back because I had to finally see his acceptance. Like he's like, you work hard for it, you earned it, so just enjoy it.
And are you going to be the only one of his children that decides to do this, or are there others?
So far, I think it's just me. It's still my baby brother. He just turned. He's just turned. How old is he? Oh my! Yeah, he's gonna be mad at me for this one. I think he just turned 15 or 16. So he doesn't really know what he wants to do. My brother's already a good soccer player. That's his passion, and he does a lot of music stuff. Khalil's very creative. He's very artistic. So I honestly don't know what route he's taking, but that's what he seems pretty invested in soccer. And my sisters. Yeah, they're not built for it. Let's just say that.
I see. Yeah, I met Khalil at FightersRep after the show. He came into the ring, took some pictures. Seems like a really nice kid.
Yeah, Khalil's my ace, man. That's my brother. I love him. We always together. I'm always trying to spend as much time as I can with him.
For sure. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, your performances at FightersRep, because obviously, we are FightersRep Promotions.
Yeah.
I must say, Gabriel, the difference I saw in you between your fight in September at FightersRep against Denis Kovalev versus the last FightersRep 9 in February. That's just, not even 6 months. The difference was really incredible. Was it just that you performed that much better on the day, or is it improvement?
No, I guess it has a lot of I believe in that. It has a lot to do with the day too, how your mind is over there. But I believe in the improvements. For the prior to the first fight that I fought for you guys, and to the last one, I put in an endless amount of work. I'm talking about sleep hours. There were some times that sometimes I would be, because how you get your testosterone up. Like sometimes I couldn't sleep, so I was like, I'm gonna go on a run. That's a 5-mile run. I'll go at night. Okay. Marcus always kept beating on my ass like, you gotta run. But I'm not a big fan of running. I rather do more fun stuff. I rather work on my reflexes. Some shadow boxing, hit the bag. I love hitting the bag. That's how I learned it. So when I was at MTC, that's all I was doing. You want to train with us boxers? Go hit the bag. Jump ropes, hit the bag. Get the weights and go shadow box. So that's how I kind of picked up. So, I love spending my time doing stuff like that. But those guys are right. Sometimes you got to do, you can go only to a certain level just doing the same stuff over and over. My dad actually says that too. So you just got to, do other types of workouts and stuff. So yeah, so I was swimming, I was running. I wasn't doing much of running, but I was doing some running, and I was just training at a bunch of different gyms. I was training with Jason Park at Boxing Works. I was training with my dad. I was training with the guys at Systems, sometimes even here by myself. And I'm a guy that I take a lot of information, so I always watch videos of older fighters. Like I always trying to absorb as much as I can, so my mind is really open. So I think my time reaction from the first fight to the second fight, I was already a different fighter. Like just reaction wise, like I could see stuff that on the that I didn't see on the first fight, I could see it on my last one. So it was just an incredible time frame of evolution.
Yeah. I'll say, I'll say this. I'll say between you and Christian O'Brien, the Black Irishman who also competed. At our last event.
He's sick. He's good. I like him.
I haven't seen a guy improve that much in that short of a time span the way you and Christian did, and I'm very impressed with that, man. And I want to know your thoughts. Do you think you can keep improving at this pace?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Chris. Like I could tell he's a hard worker. I met him a few times. Very cool dude. So shout out to him. Yeah, man. I'm so young. I'm 22. I'm about to turn 23. So like I was saying, like on the post when I won the fight, it's like we're going for another 20 years. So for another 20 years, I'm just saying 20 years on a regular basis, but probably even more. It depends how my body is gonna react to it. Yeah. But I believe more to my. So yeah, it's only so much time. So it's so much time to evolve and learn and progress that I think this is just the beginning. If I did all of this in 5 years by myself and just 1 year training with the guys at Systems, imagine if I train with those guys and my dad for 20 years. So
Right.
I expect to see a lot of improvements. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation, join FightersRep, and help us continue to build the promotion where we build fantastic talent, or help build fantastic talent like Gabriel Silva, son of the legend Anderson Silva, right there on your screen. Give him a follow on Instagram. His handle's right there on your screen, at Gabriel RMNL. You could follow him there on Instagram. And those two beautiful belts behind him are two belts he earned at FightersRep 9 in what I thought was the best performance of the evening. Let's get into that a little bit, Gabriel. First off, how does it feel to not only, win the FightersRep title, but I think at the amateur level, very significant is the fact that you won an IKF regional title?
Honestly, I was out of words because at first I was like, when Dima said it, I was like, no way, bro. It's my 5th fight. I was like, so I was kind of scared, like that kind of, I was like, am I ready for it? Am I up for the challenge? And so far so good. I've been doing good. Didn't took as much damage, so I was like, am I up for it? Who's my opponent? So I was on it. I was like, who is it? When is it? How much weight do I have to lose? What weight are we fighting at? Like, I was going crazy. And I had a trouble cutting my weight. For this specific fight, my weight wouldn't go down. So I would call Dima every morning. I swear to God, I thought he was doing with me after this fight. It's like, Dima, my weight doesn't go down, man. He was like, relax, just trust me, just do what I'm telling. I'm like, Dima, my weight doesn't go down, dude. I've been trying everything. I'm in the sauna every day. I'm shadow boxing in the sauna with the sweatsuit on. We're putting sweet sweat cream all over my body. My weight doesn't go down. So I went and called the wizard. I was like, yo, Dad, my weight does, because I hate telling those things about my dad, because my dad's discipline is so perfect. Because if I come up to him like, I can't lose weight, so he's like, well, it's your responsibility. So I didn't know how to say it. So I was like, Dad, I kind of having trouble with my weight, because this is what I think 2 or 3 weeks before the fight, maybe 2, I think. So I was kind of paranoid. Because I do, just relax, just do what your coaches are telling you, and sometimes after you're done training, just stay in the sauna for like 30 minutes. It's not necessary, but if you want to. And once I started doing the salt loading and stuff, like this whole program that we have going on, it's just starting going down, so I was more relaxed. But yeah, mentally I was up for the challenges. Just those implications that we have in the camp that kind of sets me back for a little bit. But for my performances, like the way I think I did, I was like, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. I'll do it. Like I don't mind it, but it's just those implications during camp that kind of sets me back. So mentally I was ready. Like, I'm ready to fight anytime, man.
Yeah. No, it was a fantastic performance. We got Fight Life Nation in the chat. He says, I agree, George. Gabe looked like a stud in his second fight. He went from Anderson Silva's son to an exciting prospect that night, and I gotta agree, Gabriel. I mean, I was really blown away by your performance. I wanted to ask you, you fought a very, very tough guy in Christian. Yeah, he's a very tough kid out of King's MMA. I thought this was going to be an incredibly tough fight. At the beginning, it was, there was some back and forth, but you kind of took over. I mean, what is it that you saw in there that helped you take over the fight the way you did?
Look, for whoever the fighters watching the FightersRep podcast right now, I'm gonna give you guys some game. So in my head, the way I see fighting is like, if a guy is good with kicks and he's not that good with punches, he's not gonna be able to kick. Now, if he's good with his punches and has a little bit of kicks, his kicks is gonna have an easier way. Like, just like Dennis, like he had good hands. His kicks weren't good, but they were hitting all the time because he was combining the hands with the kicks. So that made me confused on my time reaction. Christian was completely the opposite. He was throwing a lot of kicks, a lot of spinning stuff, and it was easy to read the times. What I thought it was incredible from him is his range. at the first, if you watch the fight, I threw a jab at him and I threw a step back. I thought I was completely safe, but he kind of did a sideways skipping kick that kind of hit me in the, kind of grazed me through my face. Thank God I just rolled with it, so I didn't feel nothing. But I was like, the range that the kick came from, I was like, yeah, this dude is no slouch, dude. I gotta keep my hands up and stay ready. So yeah, but I just started seeing as the rounds were going by, he was throwing too many stuff that it was easy to figure it out, and I was completely fine. My cardio was good. I didn't take no damage because he was barely punching. Those kicks weren't really hitting, so I was like, well, we just take over from here. Now it's the Gabe show, so I just put my good boxing into practice, and I just find the openings, because once the rounds start going by, you know, the stamina starts dropping, hands starts dropping, hands gets lower, my time reaction gets faster. So that's how kind of picked it up, you know.
At any point in the fight, I mean, did he hurt you? Did you feel hurt at any point in that fight?
It was only a time when he threw a spinning back kick, and then I did the shoulder roll, but it kind of connected right on my chest right here, and I kind of took my breath out. So I was like, oh, that was a good one. But that was about the only shot. I mean, he barely hit me with any punches, and yeah, he threw me. I think he threw like an overhand when I tried to knee him or kick him, and it connected. It was really good. So yeah, it was those two punches that I remembered. I mean, the punch and the kick. Yeah.
And he's another kid like yourself who I could see having a great future. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that fight got made, man, because I do think you guys are definitely.
Also, shout out to you guys for making it happen too.
Oh, thank you, man. My pleasure. My pleasure. And I do think you two guys, obviously, you're the best in the division. But I mean, if there's a second place, he's probably the guy who's second place in that division. And now you're the Southern.
Couldn't say otherwise.
And now you're the Southern Regional Champion. I mean, at this point, the only thing left to do is to maybe unify with the Northern Regional Champion, if there even is one. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Definitely, dude. I mean, I was talking to my coaches and my dad. My dad already had got, he got big plans lined up. He has, he's the coach / manager. But then I have the Dima that is the coach / manager. So it's stuff from here and here. So I just absorb it. And yeah, I mean, those guys are right. Like at the level I am, and it's just about resolving, making that decision. So I'll definitely unify. I mean, I'm having fun with the amateurs. I'm learning a lot of stuff. Learning how to do with certain situations. Learning how to do with other fighters. And it all of this stuff is pretty new to me, George. I just, I barely have two full years as a fighter, so there's still a lot of things to learn. So, yeah, I'll definitely, if the opportunity presents itself, I'll definitely take it. What I also put in my head, I want to go for a WBC. If there is a WBC Muay Thai amateur, any type of, championship, I want to go for that because. Yeah, I love it. I have my green belt right here, but I'm definitely trying to add a second one to the collection.
Well, maybe at some point we have a conversation with Mauricio Sulaiman and, see what we can do about that. I know they've got a Muay Thai belt.
Let's speak that into let's manifest that.
For sure, brother. I mean, I know that.
Into existence.
Oh, I absolutely believe in that. And, I know they do a Muay Thai title. I'm not sure if they have a kickboxing one, but that's something that I may reach out to them about at some point. We're an all kickboxing promotion, so that's another question I wanted to ask you. You've fought kickboxing for us. I think you've done some Muay Thai as well. What sport are you looking to get into in the long run? Do you know where your heart is at? Is it MMA, boxing, Muay Thai?
Definitely. I want to do all of that, man. I want to do, what I look out through my dad's, because my dad Floyd and those guys, I'm inspired by those guys a lot, especially my dad, because I saw everything happening up close. Every fight that I could be in with him, I went there. I saw how things happen. So I'm ready for that, so yeah, the long run, the last go, the end of the goal is like I want to end up at the UFC, not because it's the UFC and my dad was the greatest fighter over there, but because they have the best athletes in the world. So I want to prove myself among the best. So there wouldn't be a better place to go. So, but I don't mind it, man. It's like I want to do a few boxing fights, jiu-jitsu tournaments, even wrestling tournaments. I just want to get the full experience. Everything my dad didn't get to experience, I just want to do it, to see what's going to be the outcome if it didn't do it, what would happen if it did do it. So I just want to do those certain things, you know. So I always have those conversations with him, and yeah, I want to do that. You know, my first fight was Muay Thai. I think both of the fights for you guys were kickboxing. I think I fought for IFS. I think I don't remember if that was Muay Thai or kickboxing. I think it was Muay Thai. Yeah, so I think I had 2 Muay Thai fights. If that one was a Muay Thai, I don't recall it. I don't remember. So yeah.
Got you. Well, I mean, since we're already on the topic of manifesting, I'm hoping that when FightersRep becomes the world's premier professional kickboxing promotion,
yeah.
As you know, we did our first pro-am at the last event, and it was very successful, and I thank God for that. But as hopefully we turn into the world's premier kickboxing promotion, maybe one day you'll fight pro for us as well. That would be very cool.
For sure, I'll definitely do that. You guys helped me a lot, and I couldn't be more thankful, you know. So that would be only right, you know, to make, you know. So I think I'll definitely do it. It would be a good idea. Also, shout out to John. I love his fight, dude. His fight was awesome, man. John Gee from Systems. He's a very hard worker, man. So I love this fight. It was really good.
Man, that was a fantastic fight between him and Milton.
He's no joke, dude. The dude's tough. Tough as that there is out there, man.
I wanted to ask you something else about your fight, Gabriel. There were some mixed reviews on the way you were sort of conducting yourself during the fight. A lot of trash talk, a lot of bravado. You know, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's exciting. I think fighters sometimes use it to kind of throw their opponent off, something that your father, I think, was very good at. Can you kind of...
That's like the pioneer of it.
Can you kind of explain that? I mean, is that strategic? Is that something that you do because that's the way you're just feeling right there and then? I mean, tell me a little bit about that because I'm interested.
Dude, first of all, I'm gonna just say, you know, the apple don't fall far from the tree. But besides the point, that's besides the point. Anyway, like the day of the fight, I woke up in such a good spirit, George. I kid you not, the whole day was good. I had my friends over at my house, which I usually don't do. I like to be, you know, by myself. But you know, I woke up early. You know, I pray because you know sometimes I really pray. You know, do my stuff, listen to some music. You know, and I had a little issue with my weight, so I woke up. I had my friends over here. I have Chris, one of the guys at my sponsorship. He helped me lose some weight because that was the day of the weigh-ins. Yeah, that was Thursday. So I was like, I needed to lose like I think a pound or something because I woke up overweight because I think I drank water. So yeah, you know, I just did that and I was in good spirits. I was listening to music, laughing the whole time. So the whole day I was having fun. I was such in good spirit. My brother was here. My friends were here. Lyndon was here. My friend Max came all the way from college. Had school, but he skipped school and he was like, "Nah, I gotta watch that." So I was like, "Yeah, man, come through." So he was here. So it was just such a good vibe that I was in good spirit. So I was like the kids in our age would say, I was lit. Yeah, it was such a good night, and I honestly I would think it was half and half as strategic because once I saw that Chris was starting to get tired, that's when how I took off. I was like, well, now we got to fight because I'm over here. I got my energy up. Like, you better not quit on me. You better fight your way through it. So I was like, I was in such a good mood that those things was just happening naturally. Yeah. Like, all those things I remember. Like, even the rope thing I did, like, I saw a fight from Israel a couple months ago. I was like, I was leaning over there, and then I was like, well, my legs were already on the setup, so I was like, I just did it. So I just jumped in the rope. So I was like, dude, after I was watching the fight, I was like, did I really just do that? I was just doing such, like, I did this. I was like, what the heck is that? Like, that was so childish. But I was just having fun with it, to be honest, dude. And that's kind of how it happened, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I guess the world is kind of half and half on that. I mean, a lot of people, they don't like it. But the way I feel about it and the way I felt about you was, I mean, if this is how a person expresses themselves, because at the end of the day, it's martial arts at the end of the day. It's an art. And so if that's how you express yourself and that's how you're at your best, then, I mean, who is somebody to tell you not to do that? You know,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Muhammad Ali, we've seen Conor McGregor, we've seen your father, we've seen some of the greatest of all time do stuff like that. So, you know, I think as long as nobody gets terribly hurt from it, I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah. It's kind of contradiction. They're gonna say it's contradictional because you know my dad and how he portrays himself. You know, as this. You know, my dad has his moments. You know that when he lost it. You know, but he's known as that cool, calm, and collected guy. So I guess people's expecting that from me. You know, because you know he's my father. But like I told people before. You know, like we share the same blood. You know, I mean, you know, I carry the Silva name and legacy, but at the same time, I'm going on I told my dad, if we're going to do this, you know, if you want to be on board with me, I got to do things on my own way. So that's kind of how I see it. So some days you might see me as the most concentrated guy on earth. And the next day you're going to see me not caring about anything and just doing what I need to do, you know, shrugging my shoulders off, looking at people, you know, that depends on how I feel that certain day. So yeah,
and that's life, and you know that's kind of how that's kind of how I even run my business, Gabriel. Like a lot of people, they like to micromanage. They like to micromanage people, but I'm not. Like my video guy, my camera guy, I tell them, hey, just go do you. You have creative discretion. You know, I don't.
That's a good mindset, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't go to the mechanic and tell them how to fix my car. You know what I mean? I let people do their thing.
Yeah.
I have an incredible story and sort of like an experience I wanted to share with you, Gabriel. But first off, I wanted to ask you: is your father around at all? Is he around right now?
Yeah, he's doing his live streaming because you know he's doing a lot of gaming stuff, so he's doing the live stream right now. But yeah, I could go there a little bit later though.
No problem. The reason I'm telling you that is because so you know I got into combat sports. You know, I played basketball. I played other stuff. I only trained you know, a little bit of boxing and kickboxing and stuff, but I never fought. I played other sports growing up. Grew up in Miami, Florida, and that's what we did. We were always outside playing sports. And I fell in love with the fight game. You know, I fell in love with the fight game, and
yeah, you know, it's a beautiful art form. You know, so yeah, I respect you for it though.
For sure. And then at one point, you know, I went out to Las Vegas.
Fight capital.
I went out to Las Vegas because my friend invited me out, and I think it was for my birthday, and we went to see Anderson Silva.
Ooh.
Versus Vitor Belfort live.
Oh, wow. For the first one?
Live.
Damn.
I mean, I think that was my first live UFC.
Damn.
Yeah, and I got to see your father weigh in with the Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah.
Him and Vitor had some beef. He had this Phantom of the Opera mask. I mean, the weigh-ins were electric. It was incredible. And that's where your father got that front kick knockout that like everybody...
History.
Yeah, that's I mean, I think if your father is known for a knockout, it's the one that happened that night.
That's my top 3 for sure.
And you know, you gotta put yourself in my shoes, Gabriel. You know, to have been there for that, and then to have started a kickboxing promotion and to have his son fight for me and pick up 2 belts. I mean, I think you know, that's a pretty special kind of.
That's destiny, man. You know, it's like you fell in love with it. The universe just aligned itself and you know gave the opportunity of us to meet each other. I believe in a lot of that stuff too, like timing in the universe, and then I believe in that stuff. So you know, if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen, man.
For sure. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It kind of gave me goosebumps that night when I was at FightersRep 9. You know, it was a full house. We had to turn people away at the door. And, you know, to know that I had seen your father a few years earlier get that finish and then watch you get the finish to pick up the 2 belts, I said, man, the universe is talking to me right now.
Yeah, dude, definitely. You know? There's no other way, dude.
Yeah, so definitely something that I wanted to share with you, you know.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, for sure. And your dad actually came to your second fight against Kovalev. I mean, was that added pressure to have him there during that fight?
Was he there? Yeah, he was there. He helped me warm up. I remember. I have the picture. Dude, once my dad is in there, that's like when you're not going to see me, you know, doing what I did in my last fight. No, it's not even because of I respect him. It's because I drove on the way. I drove with Dima, but before I left the house, he just just a certain ritual from that to sun that just kind of puts my head in a different space.
Yeah.
So it puts me in a space that I can't take. It's not just about fun and fighting. Just it is fighting for what I love, but it's also like it just puts my head in a different time space. So I was just like, yeah, he's here. I can't disappoint him. So it's just like I don't want to make any mistakes. Like every direction, every instruction he gave me, I want to put it into practice and. Just to give, good compliments out of it later or good feedback from it later. So it's just like, it just puts my head in a different space. So I like having him there, but yeah, he couldn't be on my last fight. But yeah, I definitely love having my dad be there. I'm still trying to get him on my corner though, but he's being an a-hole about it though. So.
Well, I wanted to ask you, was he able, because, one of the things we pride ourselves on and something I am going to be continuing to develop and make better, among other things, is the live stream. So, I mean, was he able to watch you on the live stream get your win at the last event?
He definitely saw the fight, yeah. He called me right after. Like, congratulations. He posted it on his Instagram because the first fight I did for you guys at FightersRep in the IFS, he wrote a whole text. I was kind of butthurt about it, but I mean, it's fine. I still respect it. And then the last fight, he just put like 3 letters, like "good job, great job." Like he put "good job, well done," something like that. So I was like, oh, he was definitely butthurt the way I performed, though. He probably didn't like all that talk. But I mean, I was like, yeah. In my head, I already knew it. Once the fight was over, I even told my brother, I was like, yo, Pops is pissed right now. I know it. He was like, yeah, bro, for sure. But I mean, you got the win, so. Let's go home. Let's get those belts and let's get out of here. So I was like, yeah.
And did he tell you anything about what you did in there?
No, dude. Surprisingly, I think he just held it in because, I mean, what can you say? You see the belt right here. I brought it home, baby. So there's nothing you can say, I mean, there is, but we didn't really talk. Like, we didn't. That's probably the only fight that we didn't have a conversation about. I mean, God knows why, but yeah. We didn't really talk. He probably didn't even see my belt yet because it's just been here in my room. I didn't even get the chance to show it to him.
Wow.
Probably just do it right now. So,
wow. Yeah. Wow. Well, maybe it's because, you achieved something pretty special. I think it's the highest accolade an amateur can achieve in striking is to win an IKF belt. So maybe he's just happy for you. Doesn't want to rain on your parade. And plus, you could always tell him, "Hey, Dad."
Yeah, that too. That's a good way of putting it.
And maybe he's also like, how am I gonna tell him anything if I kind of used to do the same thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what my sister said though. My sister said the same thing. Like, he's not gonna do that. He did the same thing. He used to do the same thing. So I was like, yeah, you got a point.
That's funny.
So I was kind of like skeptical to face him after, like, ooh, like what is he gonna say? What, like, I try to in my head, I'm trying to prepare for the words, how to defend myself. I had to do it because I had to do it. Like, it just happened. But he didn't say anything. He's like, yo, how are you? You good? Like, how, are you hurt? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. He's like, good. And that was about it.
Gabe, do you know? I'm not sure if you went back to look at the live stream, but do you know that over 24,000 people watched the live stream, and that's not including all the people that went back and watched your fight individually, which I believe is at almost 13,000 views?
Damn, I actually didn't know about the live stream, but I always watch my fights. So all the fights that are on YouTube, I always go check. So I saw the amount of views, the 13,000. I saw that, but I didn't know about the live stream because I was fighting, so I didn't get to see it. Yeah. But that's cool. That's dope. Thank you guys for the support and whoever's watching the FightersRep channel. We're still growing a lot. We're still learning a lot. So yeah. We expect to see a lot on the next few years, though, for sure.
For sure, and a ton of Brazilians tuned in to support you, Gabriel.
Oh, that's good, dude. Oh, you mean to the fight or to the channel?
Well, during the live stream, and afterwards, I mean, it was a ton of Brazilians that were tuning in. It was a ton of.
Dude, I also want to talk about this. Like, I took some of my Brazilian friends. And dude, the atmosphere is different, dude, because Brazilians are so hyper, dude. Like, it was just crazy. I could hear everybody. I could hear my sister, my brother, my Brazilian. I think it was 3 of my Brazilian friends. I could hear all 3 of them. I could hear my uncle. Literally, I could hear everybody clear as you could hear my voice right now through all that madness that was going through. So I was like, wow, dude, Brazilians are different. Definitely different.
Bro, and
they started doing like a chant thing. I was like, ooh, it kind of hyped me up. So I was like, I was feeling it.
The who va morrer, who
yeah. They usually I used to hear that when, you know, my dad would fight. When I went to the first UFC Rio, my dad fought Yushin Okami. They were saying that and the arena was shaking. So for me to hear the same thing and, you know, being in the ring, just a way to start a fight, I was like, dude, this is something else right now. Like I was shaking. It was really cool. It was really cool.
And it was, you know, it was pretty loud in there so for us to be able to hear them the way we did. I mean, they were definitely loud, like you're saying. You mentioned Floyd Mayweather twice now during this interview, and don't think that you know, went over my head. I totally hear what you're saying. I'm a huge boxing fan, and I'll be honest, looking at some of those replays of your fight, the slow motion,
right?
The slow motion footage especially. I mean, I can see that influence on your boxing. You're even utilizing the shoulder. It looks to me you utilize the shoulder roll. Am I right about that?
Yeah, definitely right. You know, Floyd he's my favorite. You know, my dad doesn't count because he's my father. But if I were, you know, let's just say my dad is my dad, so I can't really, you know, like he's my favorite athlete, my favorite person in the world. So, you know, it's got to be Floyd Mayweather just because of the work ethic, you know, the ring press and just the mindset, you know. So yeah, you think it's madness to get in a kickboxing fight and use a shoulder roll because you're so exposed to kicks. But I was like, I want to be the guy that, you know, that's gonna break that, you know, and just gonna get other people to start learning. Every time I spar, I got kick in my neck, I get kick on the top of my head, but when I'm in a fight, I don't let those things happen because the instincts are so sharp because I got kicked so many times that it doesn't really happen. So also I wanted to say what I was about to say. Yeah, I just wanted to try it because, you know, it's something that I don't really see people do. And then I always hear Dima saying, stop doing this with your shoulder. You're not Floyd Mayweather. I always hear my pop saying, stop doing this. You're not Floyd Mayweather. I was like, I know this about now. I'm Gabriel Silva. But it's something that I watched so many times, George. Like, literally, I saw all Floyd Mayweather fights. I literally watched all of them from end to beginning and end to beginning. So that's something that I can't undo. Like, so sometimes I don't really use it that much, like as much as I used to back when I used to box. But I still use it still here sometimes because this is how I feel safe, you know. So that's how I kind of picked it up. So yeah, shout out to Floyd, man.
I can't blame you for that, man. And for the people that watch this channel, they know he's what I consider the best boxer that I've ever seen in my life.
For me too.
And
I'm glad I got to see it. You know, my generation got to pick up.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast, and if you could implement that somehow, I mean, it looks like you have implemented some of that already. So congrats.
Do my best.
Yeah, man. So congrats to you. I wanted to talk a little bit about sparring. I mean, you come from a fantastic team at Systems Training Center, and I tell everybody and I tell everybody that'll listen that Southern California or just California, I mean, we got the most talent maybe in the whole world when it comes to fighters, you know?
Especially amateurs. There's so many good amateur fighters around here. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So, I mean, you know, who are you sparring with at Systems that you know, you want to recognize or maybe appreciate for some of the work they've given you and the incredible improvements you've made in just a short time span?
Man, you know, I spar with everybody. Crystals is in the UFC. Crystals is like, I'll say he's probably the toughest. So I always leave him as either my first round and my last, because I know I'm gonna start with a bang, you know. So it's gonna get my body running to where I need it to be, you know. And at the end, because I'm exhausted. So if I'm able to, you know, to take that level of athleticism and just be on par with it, then that means I'm good. Then that means what I'm doing is working. Also, Dima, all the coaches at Systems, we spar equally. I'm also a coach there, so you know, we all see eye to eye. Like some guys are better in some aspects than the other ones. So when we clash each other, it's always hard sparring. You know, there's Santos fought for you guys. Joseph, you know, there's a lot of good guys in there. That Danny's the best softball I ever sparred with. You know, like he has such a good boxing mix with his Muay Thai. has such a good inside leg kicks and head kicks. Like the way he switches
I
from bottom
really
to
like
top so
that
quick.
kid, man. I really like that kid.
Man, look, I love Danny. Danny's like one of my favorite guys to spar with over there, you know, because my dad's a softball. So when I spar my dad, and that's something I want to talk about later because it's pretty interesting. Yeah. I also have, sometimes I have a hard time with softballs, you know, because it's hard to figure it out. The shoulder work definitely doesn't work when it comes to a softball because, you know, they're on the same line. Literally, they can see the ribs are exposed in the body and the head. So it doesn't really work, you know. So yeah, Danny and those guys, Dima over there too. I always have tough rounds with Dima, so shout out to him. He always pushes me to go best. And Marcus too. Marcus is the clinch work I do with that guy is crazy. The guy's so strong because he's always running 100 miles per day, pretty much. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. It's a lot of tough guys out there, man. That's why I love going there.
You were telling me about your dad. I mean, kind of let me in about the sparring, the southpaw, and your dad, and
yeah, the sparring my dad. So nothing that I say, nothing that you see so far applies to my dad. Cause I mean, you kind of get it, right? Like you don't even see me right here, but like it's like right here at the top,
yeah,
and then like you can even see me. So like nothing seems to get through him, you know. So as I'm training with him, I'm learning some stuff. His timing, but his range is so it varies, dude. He's so creative when it comes to mixed martial arts that every time I spar with him, honestly, I just leave frustrated because you know like there's nothing that I could do that's effective against his work because his mentality is. It's one of a kind. It's literally he opened my eyebrow. I don't know if you can see right here.
Yeah,
I have
I
a
can
scar.
see it. I can see
yeah,
it.
he opened it the other day because we was boxing and he started throwing elbows. I was like, really? He was like, nah, keep going. You're gonna keep going. I'm like, okay, whatever. I was already pissed because you know I was opened up, bleeding everywhere. So I was like, but you know there's nothing you could do when it comes to that. You know, it's just I just get to absorb it. You know, like. He start punching from here to there and then start doing some tricks is just like it's just awesome, dude. So to get to see that and then I get to apply it to my sparring when I do in other gyms is just great, you know. Yeah. So yeah, the mentality is different, like from breed of fighter. Like I said before too, like they don't make them like that no more. So the most time I could spend with him, I will, you know, because it helps me a lot.
I love that, man. I love that. And Gabriel, we're getting close to an hour here. So I want to thank you so much for your time,
sure,
champ. You know, we're very proud to have you as a champion. We're very proud to have gotten you that IKF title as well. You were the first.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you were the first IKF title winner, and I think we're gonna have more in the future. And I appreciate
hopefully,
you know, the work you did, and you know. Keep it up. Is there anybody you kind of want to shout out, any sponsors or anything like that before I let you go?
Yeah. I mean, I have my clothing brand SDZN right here, so you guys could check. You know, just go look it up on Instagram. SDZN is gonna be out there. Also, shout out to my sponsors at 777 Exotics, and shout out to my cousin, man, because I love my cousin. So I hate it because he's still in Brazil, but I just try to do everything I can to bring him back. So shout out to my cousin. Shout out to you, man.
Very cool, Gabe. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it, man.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Follow us at FightersRep on social media. Follow Gabriel. You know, he's already a champion, and we think he's headed towards greatness. So definitely follow him on Instagram at Gabriel RMNL. And thank you for joining us. We'll have another great interview for you, I believe, Monday. So definitely stick around, knuckleheads, until Monday. Until then, me and Gabriel Silva, we're out of here. Keep it clean, knuckleheads.
Stay active, guys. See you guys. See you next time.